Hello and welcome to the first full-scale simulation on this channel. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe to stay up to date. Today we're going to test Nebu and Ramesses against Zenobia and Theodora. Nebu was introduced as a hard counter to Zenobia, especially if you pair him with Ramesses. So in this battle scenario, we will test how well they do against Zenobia and Theo, and how much they need to be enhanced with equipment and accessories to tip the balance in their favor. First, let me guide you through the full simulator layout. I'll show you how commanders are set up and aligned for battle, and then we'll run the actual simulation. Before we start, I should mention that all simulated battles will feature 200,000 troops on each side. A higher number of troops would just make the battles last longer without actually changing the outcome. So that said, let's look first at how Nebu and Ramesses are represented in the simulator. First of all, here's the talent tree that I have given to Nebu for the purpose of this exercise. Now let's look at the rage engine. It's represented here, where this column adds up all the rage received every turn from various sources, which is typically skills and talents. And whenever this reaches 1000, it triggers the active skill of the primary commander. Then 2 seconds later, it's going to trigger the active skill of the secondary commander. Looking at Nebu now, his skills are very much oriented towards damage. 3 out of the 6 effects coming from his skills actually generate a damage factor. And then 2 other effects are going to give him some permanent buffs to counterattack damage and to all damage. Finally, he has 1 effect that is reducing the enemy rage, and this is proccing with a 10% chance. This type of random number generator is included in this simulator, and for example here you can see that the rage reduction effect triggers inconsistently, right? Because it has a 10% proc rate. So sometimes it could be triggering faster, other times it's going to take a lot until luck dictates that it should trigger again. All of this is included in the simulator and it will contribute to the battle outcome. Now, moving on to Ramesses. I won't go through a detailed description of his skills. You can take them from the game, but pretty much focused on buffing his own army, protecting it. Moving on to the talents part. Talents are fully represented here. And most of what you see here is enhancement to damage. Now, moving to the next section, these are the permanent stats. So we have the primary commander skills. We have 30% increased defense from Nebu. We also have 40% from the secondary commander, Ramesses, right? Also the talent tree connector stat modifiers. So when I say connectors, I'm meaning these things, right? So these things that are connecting the talent attributes. Finally, the last permanent stat section includes everything that you get from your alliance technology, your own technology, city skins, runes. The last modifier is going to be the equipment. So this is something that we're going to play with a lot also today. And for example, I could opt for the Dragon's Breath bow for Nebu, which is going to give me 20% extra defense, or maybe I want to special talent this item, which adds even more defense to it, right? So all of these will be part of our testing today. Then in this section, we just see everything coming up together to actually generate the outcome. And in this column here, we'll see what the total damage output is from Nebu and Ramesses when they are fighting Zenobia and Theo. So for example, in the first turn, they deal 406 casualties. The layout for Zenobia and Theo is very similar to what you saw for Ramesses and Nebu. Of course, they have their own skills and their own talents. This is the talent tree that I've used for Zenobia for this simulation. All of those modifiers added together will generate in the first turn a damage output of 677. Now, let's get to the fun part and actually play a simulation. When I'm going to click this simulate button, we'll have 300 simulated battles. And the outcome of each of those battles is going to be entered on these two columns here. So you'll see something like this battle was won, for example. That's the outcome. And then the second column will tell us in how many turns or how many seconds the battle was won. Let's say 200, for example. We're just going to see all of this unfold 300 times. And then in this outcome section here, we're going to find out what the average outcome is going to be. This is very important because there's a lot of randomness in all battles, as you know. The purpose of the simulator is to even out those outcomes and give you the average output, which in turn will help you decide what sort of buffs or modifiers from equipments, for example, are better used to achieve your goals on average. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, it's running, and yeah, not looking good for Nebu and Ramesses. They're losing every battle, and you can see here it's like 0 to 100% win-loss ratio. The average turns it takes for them to lose has stabilized around 225. It goes slightly up and down, and now we're done with the first simulation. So there you have it, 300 battles simulated without equipment. And you probably already know this from actual testing in-game, that Nebu and Ramesses, without any buffs, will not beat Zenobia and Theo, that is in the same situation without any extra buffs. Let's add some modifiers, shall we? Let's give Nebu and Ramesses, to boost their performance, let's give them some equipment. What I've given them here is a low tier type of setup for equipment focused on blue and green gear, and it's all special talented. So all of this together gives them a total of 41% stats. Right now they are receiving a 41% stat boost, while Zenobia and Theodora will still have nothing. Let's simulate. Okay, it's running. Still losing. Oh, there's a win. Okay. So 41% extra stats from gear for Nebu and Ramesses, and they're still losing, but we have the first win on our radar. And actually, you can see that the average turns to loss has increased significantly. We'll compare it when the simulation runs out. Yeah, let's see if there's any new, if there are any new wins. Doesn't look like it. All losses, and it's done. Our base outcome without any gear was 225 turns required to lose the fight. Now it has increased 302 turns, and we also have one win. Not encouraging yet. So let's see what else we can do for them. So what if we replace the green pieces of equipment? Let's replace them with purple. Okay, and keep them expertised. I've given him, Nebu, the revival helm with a special talent, and also the flame treads with a special talent. That means now he has 49.5% extra stats from equipment. And simulate. Okay, so we finally are getting some wins on our radar. It's going down again. Yeah, keep an eye on this percentage. This is where what we are looking for. A couple more wins. Yeah, no, still too weak. The average turns to loss has increased again, which is to be expected. So it's harder and harder for Zenobia and Theo to actually win against them, but it's still pretty much disappointing. Okay, let's give them accessories. Let's give Nebu and Ramesses the Ring of Doom and the Silent Trial without expertise, just the simple versions of them. Let's see. Oh, right, so now they're winning a lot actually. It looks like finally with 49% extra stats and with two very important accessories, the Ring of Doom and the Silent Trial, they finally are good for the fight. They are winning. Yeah, 88% win rate. The only problem with this is in a real situation, I don't think they're going to fight Zenobia and Theo without any equipment. I have selected for them, let's call it a mid-tier type of gear. It's blue, so all blue items. Gatekeeper Shield, the Windswept set, and the Sentry Breaches. I won't even expertise them. All in all, they bring 28% extra stats. Let's boost our Nebu and Ramesses as well. I have now given them the Golden Age sword, so that's purple item, then purple again. Basically the entire revival set and the flame treads, all purple, which is probably something that many of you will try to forge for this type of commander pair. In total, that's 60%, 60.5% additional stats, and they'll still have the Ring of Doom and the Silent Trial, and actually I feel like they're a bit overpowered compared to Zenobia and Theo right now. So let's expertise this blue set. So all in all, that gives Zeno and Theodora 37.5% stats. So the difference between them is roughly 23% maybe in the favor of Nebu and Ramesses. I still think they're going to lose with this type of setup, but I think from all of the setups that we've used, this is, let's call it the most realistic one, right? Because we have purple expertised set for Nebu and Ramesses, which is quite an advanced feature, and then a fully expertised blue set, which is very average for Zenobia and Theodora. So let's see how it goes. Okay. So yeah, they are losing again in most cases, but sometimes they are winning, like 1 out of 5 maybe, or lower. Yeah, it's now kind of stable at 16, 17% maybe win rate. Yep, it's 17% final win rate in this situation. How will this help you? First, I think the obvious conclusion is equally buffed. Unfortunately for Ramesses and Nebu, they don't actually stand a chance. So the only way to be effective and take down a garrison led by Zenobia and Theodora will be if you control the field or if you outnumber your enemy's garrison by reinforcing your rallies more than the garrison is being reinforced. Yeah, this was the final simulation for today. So this is just to give you a sample of how the battle simulation looked like and what to expect to see in further videos on this channel. And for next time, we'll look at best equipment choices for archers, which is a very important topic because what I've given him here ultimately to Nebu might not exactly be the best equipment combinations. So let's just try to find out what the actual best equipment sets are for Nebu and Ramesses, and it's going to apply to other combinations as well. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and see you next time.